The Earth is shifting in ways that feel both ancient and new, drawing our attention back to patterns humanity has forgotten but creation has never stopped expressing. And right now, as volcanoes across multiple continents erupt within hours of each other, as deep tremors ripple beneath nations thousands of miles apart, and as people everywhere sense an unexplainable weight in the atmosphere, the planet seems to be echoing something written long before scientists had the language to describe tectonic plates, magma chambers, or mantle plumes. What we are seeing today is not a random chain of geological coincidences, but the same kind of synchronized global stirring that accompanied pivotal moments in history, moments that shaped civilizations, redirected cultures, and fulfilled prophecies spoken thousands of years ago. Deep beneath our feet, pressure is building at unimaginable scales as molten rock forces itself upward through fissures carved into the crust by centuries of shifting plates. And the most fascinating part is that geological systems don't behave in isolation. They operate like interconnected organs within a single living body, responding to stresses in one region by adjusting in another. When a major volcano awakens in Indonesia, seismic signatures often appear in Japan, Alaska, Chile, or the Pacific Northwest, which is why the simultaneous eruptions we've witnessed in the last 72 hours are deeply significant. Each volcano acts like a drum in a global orchestra, sending vibrational signals into the mantle, and when multiple drums respond at the same time, it means something deep within the planet is shifting, not locally, but globally. Scientists can measure the tremors, map the pressure zones, and model the eruptions. Yet even they acknowledge that the scale and timing of recent activity defy traditional explanations. But ancient prophets described this very phenomenon with astonishing clarity. Isaiah wrote of a world that would reel like a drunk, imagery that matches modern measurements showing that large-scale eruptions can alter Earth's rotation, tilt, and distribution of mass. Jesus spoke about earthquakes in many places as the beginning of birth pains. And anyone who understands birth knows that pains begin small, then intensify, then overlap, then become continuous until the final breakthrough occurs, which reflects the exact pattern of global seismic escalation documented over the past few decades. From minor tremors in the 1980s to more frequent volcanic activity in the 1990s, to major megathrust quakes in the 2000s, and now to simultaneous volcanic awakenings across whole regions of the planet in the 2020s, the trend mirrors precisely what prophecy foretold: increasing contractions. The most active geological region on Earth, the Pacific Ring of Fire, contains more than 75% of the world's volcanoes and 90% of all earthquakes. So, when this entire system begins to rumble at once, it signals structural changes occurring on a planetary level. And yet, there's another layer people often overlook: what happens after volcanic events. Historically, large eruptions reshaped humanity in dramatic ways. The Minoan civilization collapsed after Thera erupted. Pompeii was wiped out by Vesuvius, and after Indonesia's Mount Tambora erupted in 1815, the world experienced the year without a summer, leading to food shortages, colder temperatures, crop failures, and widespread famine. Volcanic ash reduces sunlight, alters atmospheric chemistry, disrupts weather cycles, affects oceans, poisons water sources, grounds airplanes, and changes the global climate for months or even years. Today, multiple volcanoes are showing signs of significant pressure, and the consequences of a major eruption could ripple through agriculture, trade, migration, and geopolitics. Yet the most striking part is how perfectly this aligns with prophetic descriptions found in Isaiah, Ezekiel, Joel, Revelation, and the teachings of Jesus. These writings describe fires, pillars of smoke, darkened skies, trembling lands, seas roaring, and cosmic disturbances affecting the rhythm of life itself. They describe times when creation stops whispering and begins shouting. And right now, creation is shouting. Scientists admit they are puzzled. News anchors report the events but rarely connect the dots. Governments issue alerts but cannot explain the timing. Meanwhile, ordinary people, researchers, skeptics, pastors, historians, and prophecy students are all pointing to the same conclusion: something is different. The atmosphere feels charged, the world feels like it's accelerating, and the pace of geological activity feels like contraction after contraction. The Earth is behaving like a living organism under stress, groaning, as Paul described in Romans 8:22, waiting for the unfolding of a divine plan. Mainstream outlets show isolated clips of lava fountains in Indonesia, or ash plumes rising from Mexico, or tremors shaking Japan, but rarely do they acknowledge that all of these events are happening together, in a narrow window of time, across a unified global system that has historically responded to deep mantle shifts preceding major world events. When the Red Sea parted, the earth responded to divine timing. When Sinai shook, the land reacted to God's presence. When Sodom fell, fire rained from the skies. When Jesus died, the ground broke open. And prophecy consistently shows that geological disturbances accompany moments when heaven intersects with earth. Today feels like one of those moments, not because of fear, but because of pattern. Israel reclaimed Jerusalem in 1967, and Jesus said that generation would not pass before certain prophetic milestones unfolded. Isaiah described a world wearing out like an old garment. And today scientists document atmospheric weakening, magnetic field anomalies, climate instability, and deep earth tremors increasing in frequency and magnitude. Ezekiel spoke of fire, Joel spoke of pillars of smoke, Jesus spoke of contractions, and Revelation spoke of mountains awakening and seas boiling. All of this aligns with what is happening now. Yet the purpose of these signs is not panic, it is awakening. Every time the earth shakes in Scripture, it is a call to awareness, to perspective, to understanding, and to readiness. The question is not whether these events match prophecy, they do. The question is whether people are paying attention. Why are you hearing this right now? Why is your heart sensing something others overlook? Why do these events resonate so deeply with you? Because you are awake. Because something inside you recognizes the truth behind the tremors. Because creation is speaking, prophecy is unfolding, and humanity is being invited to watch, learn, discern, and prepare. The earth is not ending. The earth is transitioning. We are not witnessing destruction. We are witnessing revelation, alignment, convergence, and fulfillment. The planet is stirring, the old patterns are returning, the prophetic timeline is accelerating, and the global shaking we are seeing is not a coincidence, it is a message written into creation itself, inviting all who have eyes to see and ears to hear to recognize that history is shifting beneath our feet, literally and spiritually. As the world enters a new chapter that prophets saw, creation echoes, and our generation is now experiencing in real time.